Hi guys, I'm Slayer Sky and welcome to my first YouTube video on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about A Quiet Place Part 2. I'm going to be doing a movie review and going through like if you should watch it and some points that I would like to talk about in this movie. And I would love to do more videos like these, so if you like the video, please like it down below. Give me a comment what you think about the points that I've made, what I've said today, or like other movies you think I should watch. And sub to the channel if you like this type of video, like movie reviews. I would also like to do other things like my writings, like script writing and that kind of stuff. So in short, I want to tell you guys if you should watch the movie or not. I have been known as a Quiet Place hater. I know a lot of people fucking love the first one, but I was very underwhelmed. I thought there were a lot of plot holes, and there was things that I didn't understand why they did in the first movie. But I wanted to give A Quiet Place Part 2 like a second chance. I wanted to give like A Quiet Place a second chance and watch Part 2 because it got just as many good reviews, and I'm a devout fan to Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb. I always look at like ratings and their score before I watch a movie, not necessarily to determine if I'm going to watch the movie. I just want to know what I'm getting into, because as long as it's like over 70% or like over a 7 out of 10, like it'll be a generally good movie. And if it's below like a 5 or a 50%, it'll generally be a bad movie. And I just want to know what I'm walking into, you know. And A Quiet Place Part 1 had like a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Actually, I'm gonna fact check myself. So okay, so the first one got a 90%, and the second one got a 91%. So like they're about the same, 90, 91. So you're thinking you're gonna walk into a generally good movie. And I'm not saying the first one was bad. I just think it probably wasn't 90%. Me personally would have given it like an 80, somewhere between an 80 and an 85. They were just, which is still pretty good, right? It's just not as like like it didn't give me as much anxiety as the second one. So okay, before I get ahead of myself, A Quiet Place Part 2, should you watch it? Yeah. Do you need to watch it? Is it a must watch? No, I don't think so. Should you, if you want to like get into that kind of like dark thriller kind of mood? Yeah, go ahead and watch it. It's a fine watch. So now the rest of the movie, or the rest of the review, is going to be a bit of spoilers. Because there are some things that really seem so unnecessary to me in A Quiet Place Part 2. And there are some things that I really loved about A Quiet Place Part 2. So this movie is considered like a thriller drama. And while it did give me a lot of anxiety, a lot of it came from like the score. The score was amazing. And I really like what they did with the sound, in the sense of like life is much more quiet than you expect it to be. And with that being said, there was a lot of jump scares. Like it wasn't necessarily that the movie was scary or that it really like gave me anxiety. It's just like a lot of jump scares, and a lot of jump scares I'm gonna like and it was like almost like every 5 minutes there was a jump scare. And of course, like if you keep me on edge, like you're edging me, I'm gonna be anxious for the whole movie. And just like people being dumb, it makes you anxious, right? Like you watching a movie, because then what's the point of a movie if it doesn't like have dumb people? Or like you're like, oh, why would you do that? Because now you know that something bad's gonna happen. And that kind of happens throughout the whole movie. You're like, oh, why did you do that? Or like, you know, and you're like on edge the whole time. So that kind of plays into like a pro and a con of the movie. A pro would be the score and the sound of the movie was spectacular. But with that being said, It was very predictable on when the suspenseful scenes were gonna happen and when the lull scenes were happening. Like, oh, nothing really crazy is gonna happen right now. But as soon as it gets very quiet and you kind of like, you know, something bad is about to happen. Like it's controlling you more with the music and like the sound than like the scenes are actually suspenseful or something like that. I hope that makes sense. But yeah. So another point I wanted to put out that this is like the main reason this movie again was not like, it was better than the first one, but this part of the movie made me like it almost was not as good as I thought it was. So big spoiler, the blind aliens are also hydrophobic. My favorite movie of all time. I love sci-fi movies, by the way, so of course I thought I would like A Quiet Place. My favorite movie of all time is Signs. The aliens are hydrophobic, and once and the fact that they mentioned or they brought up this huge plot point in the movie in the last 40 minutes really, like, it kind of saved the story or saved the characters, but it wasn't because it was really good writing. It was just a device to get from one location to another location in the movie. And that was kind of stupid. I was like, pick a struggle, like, for the aliens, like, okay, John Krasinski. I would like to mention that John Krasinski, I think he was more attractive when he was less conventionally attractive. I don't know. He definitely is a daddy. Don't get me wrong, you know? Especially in that first scene. Not the first scene. Well, yeah, the first scene. When it shows you kind of like the inception of this whole incident, like the aliens coming to Earth and like the panic in the town. John Krasinski was definitely daddy at that moment. But at the same time, I was like, I miss dorky John Krasinski when he was Jim. I don't know. I think he was more my type back then. But he definitely is daddy, especially in those first 10 minutes. And I'm like, ooh. Back to the part that the aliens are hydrophobic. I mean, that just really, I thought they could have done better writing, or John Krasinski could have done better writing to get from point A to point B, or from B to C, because this was literally to bring our characters from this middle ground to the ending. And it was kind of really dumb, because if you're telling me the aliens at a certain frequency make themselves vulnerable to a gunshot wound, like a gunshot, because they literally use shotguns, a shotgun, and they're hydrophobic, you're telling me humanity lost to these aliens? Because they're not even like, I feel like, obviously they're big fucking monsters that are ravenous and have no I guess self-control. I don't know. You're telling me they won. Because you don't see any spaceships. You don't see any, like, advanced technology. It's literally just big ravenous monsters. But they're hydrophobic and die from they are vulnerable to shotguns. You're telling me the armies of the world could not figure this out. Like, how to shoot them. Like, how to kill them. I just think that was... I don't know. That was my main thing with the first movie too. At the end, I was like, oh, you're telling me this little girl with a cochlear figured this out, but the armed forces of the world couldn't? I don't know. That seems sus. I mean, and since I was saying, like, this was that middle ground to ending part, I was on the downhill of my feelings towards this movie, because there were the cast is good, like the acting is good. It's just some of the writing, I was like, I found no point to it. And obviously we didn't come full circle yet to like how they beat these monsters in the end. So without that ending, I was like on this downhill where I was severely disappointed when we learned that the aliens were hydrophobic, because one fell in the water, it drowned, and then another alien was like scared to go in the water, and I was like, oh, okay. And that was an interesting. And it's like, and another struggle with me with this movie is like they add like the alien is blind, the alien is hydrophobic, but we never know why this is happening. Like there's no why, like they're just killing people, and they decide just to kill random people on a planet that's 80% water, and most people can see. They decided this planet is the one that they're gonna destroy. Like that made no sense to me. But I digress. But the saving grace of this movie, I think, was definitely the ending, where we find full circle. We come full circle with the resolution of this movie. Now, in the very beginning, not in the very beginning, but earlier in the film, when Emily Blunt and her children find an old friend from the town, and he's alone, obviously. They're listening to a radio. They hear a song, Over the Sea. They hear Over the Sea on the radio. And then the girl, I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names, so I'm going to look up her name really quick, because she's the main character in this movie. She's fucking phenomenal. Millicent Simmons. She's phenomenal in this movie. She's a phenomenal child actor. She's phenomenal, and her character is phenomenal. I think her character is so well written, which I think is crazy. Not that I don't think John Krasinski can write good characters. I'm just saying, some of the writing in this movie is a bit lazy. My opinion, but I'm just somebody who likes to watch movies on the internet. Oh, Regan. Yeah, Regan. I feel like they never say her name in the movie. No, there's no way they say. I think they just refer to her as like baby or whatever. Because I don't know any of these people's name except, I think, Evelyn. Because Cillian Murphy, he's cute. He's from Peaky Blinders, right? He is from Peaky Blinders. I'm saying right. But I know that he's from Peaky Blinders. So Regan's character, in the first movie, she finds out about the frequency thing. So she carries around a speaker with a microphone, and then when the aliens are around, she puts them really close and creates this feedback that creates a really loud frequency, and the aliens don't like it, right? So they find out that there's a radio station, obviously, telling them to go to look for people beyond the sea. So she goes, her and Emmett, who is the old friend, go to like the coast of where they are to find boats, and that's where they find out the aliens hydrophobic. The aliens don't prevail at that moment. They get to the island, and they're gonna go to the radio station, and or that's not their purpose actually. They get there and they're like, okay, now we need to go get my mom and my siblings. But the alien followed them on a boat, the boat that they took to the island. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, how did that happen? Oh no, it's not the same boat. I'm so sorry, I'm getting my facts wrong. They took a small boat, and then I guess the alien took another boat and followed them to the island. Or like that boat just drifted and the alien stayed in that boat. Follows them to the island, and they're like, oh fuck, okay, they think of this plan really quick to go to the radio station and to do the loud frequency at the radio station. That way that alien can die. And some deaths happen. But this girl, she's so badass. The alien's about like to ravage Emin and everything, and like, rah! She goes into the recording studio, or the little booth of the radio station, and she takes her cloakier and puts it against the microphone, creates this loud frequency, and her brother, who was obviously on land, not the island, was listening to the radio station, and they were in a perilous situation as well, and she kills, or she's able to like produce this frequency, and they're able to kill the alien. Like, she's able to fucking hit this alien in the head, kill him, which all she did was literally a pull to the head. She killed him, and they couldn't just wipe these aliens from Earth. Okay. And her brother was able to put the volume up on the radio at back home, and face his fears and his anxiety to take charge and kill the alien that was like about to kill him and his mom and his little brother. And that ending was phenomenal. I thought that ending was so badass. Like, I thought that ending was so cool. And that's what really saved the film, and that's why I think it was much better than the first one. Not much better. It was better than the first one. They're still on the same level. Like, if I gave the first one like somewhere between 80 and 85, this movie was definitely between 85 and 90. It was a good movie. I wouldn't watch it again, just because it gave me so much anxiety from like the sounds and the jump scares. Like, the whole middle part was this, like, like, it was, like, you knew something bad was gonna happen, because, like, it was, like, everybody was doing everybody parted ways, did their own thing. And then the music started, and it was, like, really heart-pounding, and then, like, there was a few jump scares, and, like, this whole scene was there to make you feel anxious. And, like I said, they used those, like, you know, like somebody did something stupid, someone is not there while someone else is doing something stupid, and the other girl is deaf, so like they're in an unknown area, we don't know what's going on, she doesn't know what's going on because she can't hear. I mean, it was fine, it was a good movie. I'm not gonna say it was a bad movie. When I say I'm a hater, I just mean I don't think it's as good as everybody else thinks. But it was fine. Like I said, give it a watch if you're in the mood for like a thriller or like an anxious, like an anxiety-inducing movie. And yeah. I don't know if I would say that you need to watch the first movie to watch the second one. But definitely watching the first movie helps watch the second one, because there are things that you don't necessarily need to know for the second one, but there are some things you might want to be like, oh, why are they doing this? So you would watch the first one to see why they did it in the second one, but you don't necessarily need to know that the aliens are here, the aliens are blind, and obviously now it's a dystopian era, because they tell you it's 400 and something days since the first attack. And yeah. Thanks for listening to me for a while about this movie, and hopefully you take into consideration what I said, or that you just found it entertaining, or that you have some information about the movie, and now you could decide if you want to watch it or not. And I hope you engage with me down in the comments. Like, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm actually dumb and you think this movie is fucking amazing. And let me know why it's fucking amazing, because I obviously need the convincing that it's actually a masterpiece and not some just fine run-of-the-mill alien movie, some M. Night Shyamalan stuff, because obviously John Krasinski took some homage from him in this sci-fi endeavor with the hydrophobic aliens. He just made it slightly different and made them blind as well. So yeah, And again, thank you for watching. Like the video if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to watch more movie reviews or want to see what else I do. I would love to do more things, like I said, with script writing, movies, and like maybe making short films and stuff like that. And I'm really excited to do this. I actually have been wanting to do this for a long time. I just have really bad anxiety. And that's not to say anything or make you guys feel bad or whatever. Or maybe I am trying to make you feel bad, so you can like and subscribe to my channel. But I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and the fact that I'm finally doing it is freaking awesome. And once I get this video up, I'm sure I'm gonna be able to bust out more movies right afterwards. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great one. Watch some movies. I know I will.